Hey everyone, it's Phil from Ashland Leather, and we just released some heavy duty Apple Watch bands, a couple of which are discounted pre-orders. We've got some shell cordovan, as well as some limited release pieces. So what does heavy duty mean? We've selected a couple different types of leathers and construction methods to make it that heavy duty classification. This first one here is a belt weight thickness. This is Illini Latigo. And Illini Latigo is a really special leather from Horween Leather Company. It's one of the few hot stuff leathers that they have. I really like the hand feel of this leather. It's very stout and somewhat firm to begin. And once it heats up around your wrist or around your waist, that wax in the leather starts to become a little bit softer. So it becomes very, very comfortable and then molds to anything you put inside of it, like your wrist in this example. But let's just gauge the thickness of this strap. We typically use 10-ounce leather. I don't know if you can see that there. 10-ounce leather. Some of the other heavy-duty straps that we have, let me just pull one out here. This is a special psychedelic pit tan horse butt. We've got 2 layers of these, and these will range from about 3.5 to 4 millimeters thick. So let's start off with the 2 non-Cordovan single layer heavy-duty Apple Watch bands. The first one is the brown Alignite Latigo. You can see very clearly how intense the grain is in this leather. So hot stuff leathers are a little bit special because you're using more natural products that need to be melted to go inside the fibers of the skin. Most tanning oils are water soluble, so you blend it into water and it easily penetrates the leather. When you're using something like a beeswax or paraffin wax, more natural materials, so like a tallow or a de gras, for example, those need to be heated up and pounded into the leather in a process called hot stuffing. So they steam heat all those waxes, greases, and oils, and then pound them into the leather in a wooden drum. And like I said, the result is a very stout feeling leather. This is very heavy duty, which is why we started making the straps out of them. I wore this exact leather for several months, this black Illini. I loved it, and I wore it all the time. I wore it when I was working out. I wore it during the day. I would wear it in the shower even, just because I wanted to put it through its paces, and it held up very, very nicely. So we've got these 2 colors in the Illini Latigo that are available, brown and black. There are limited quantities of each of these, but we're looking at about 6 weeks to be able to produce them at this moment, and both of these 2 colors will be on sale. And we've got a couple shell cordovan versions. All of these, including the Illini we just looked at, are up on the limited release page right now. So speaking of limited quantity, we've even less quantity available in the whiskey shell cordovan here. I mentioned these are 2-layer straps, and there's the thickness. So we've got about 11 ounces thick, which is roughly 4.5 millimeters thick. And some people are not sure how these straps attach. So we ship the Apple Watch bands with these lug adapters, and these adapters can be removed by just pressing the button down underneath each of those adapters. And this is how they come. We've got the 2 little arms that slide into the case. And let me show you how that is done. So we'll do it on the whiskey strap here. If you just place it, I noticed the crown on the right. You want to put the buckle end on the bottom like this. And then there's a little button in the center here that you want to press down very slightly to slide into the Apple Watch itself. And then you just do the same thing on the other side like this. And then I like to gently press this little button in the center, and it slides right in there. So we've got the 2-layer available in whiskey shell cordovan. That's available for pre-order. 2 more that are available for pre-order in cordovan. We've got this beautiful blue shell cordovan. All of these cordovan colors we've matched on top side and on the wrist side. So you have shell touching your wrist and shell showing off to the world. We've also stitched it with matching thread. So we've got a blue thread on this one, as well as blue hand-stained edges. And one more available for pre-order. People have been asking us for this color. This is green shell cordovan, and it's really, really nice. I think we should get more green shells from the tannery. It's not a color that they produce very often, so it's somewhat rare and tough to get. We've got the same concept here with the green stitching and the green hand-stained edges. Now let's get into some of the special limited releases. These are ready to ship right now. So this is pit tanned horse butt in a psychedelic orange color. And each of these are hand finished in somewhat like of a random splattered kind of way. This particular one has a little bit of green coming through in addition to that orange tone. Another thing I should mention about the straps is you have one fixed keeper that is sewn into the side of the strap here, but the other one slides. So if you're a different size, This will keep the tail of the strap held in place. Another fun psychedelic one here. I really like this. It's sort of like a green and a purple and a little bit of a tan. Let me just pull this one out of the strap to show you. So here's the two ends of the strap. You can really see the color I'm talking about there. It's like kind of a nice teal green. In some areas, it's a little bit of a darker, more forest green. Next to these magenta type of purple tones that are also including a little bit of a color gradient to them, and that all sits on top of that natural color. Now, these horsebutt leathers are tanned alongside the shell Cordovan, so they're veg tanned and age very, very well. So you'll expect this to become a bit darker, especially with the moisture living on your wrist. As you wear it, it'll start to accumulate some of that moisture, and then just from wearing it, taking it on and off, it will become darker. And in addition to that, I've noticed the horsebutt leather really develops a nice shine. So it does start off a little bit shiny here because we've hand glazed it, but as you wear it, it starts to develop layers of luster that become even shinier. Here's another fun one. We've got 2 layers of basketball leather. Now, this is the official basketball leather that at the moment, only the pros use real leather for basketball. All of the NCAA stuff and even high school, those are all synthetic at the moment, but the pros really prefer leather. And we've got that same exact leather here on the 2-layer heavy-duty Apple Watch band. Basketball touching wrist, basketball on the outside, and then a black hand-stained edge. Now, here's another couple fun ones. These are more of like prototype development pieces of Cordovan that Skip Horween has been working on. So what they do is they stain the leather with several coats of stain. In this case, they use the classic Color 8 Cordovan color, which is like a dark brown burgundy shade, little bits of like a burnt cherry as well. And if I spin it around, you'll notice the color sort of changes depending on what angle you look at it. So after they've applied those dye coats, they'll press in a texture. So in this case, it was a gator texture, and then they scrape away all of that. So that scraping away of the color, we typically call marbled. And when you marble over a texture and scrape away on the texture, it sort of flattens out that texture. So you don't get much of a feel texture at all. It turns it into more of a very interesting visual texture. That's what we have here. So this is marbled Color 8 Gator. And then we have the same concept here, but this is the black version. And the black dyes that Horween uses have a little bit of a green tint in the dyes that they purchase. So when that dye is scraped away, you reveal a little bit of that greenish undertone, and then it fades down to more of like a tan that you can see nicely on the back of the strap there, and a bit on the front as well. This one's really neat. And the last one to look at, this is ultraviolet shell Cordovan. It's sort of like a in between a straight up magenta and a purple. So it's got like a little bit of pink to it, but it definitely reads more purple. This is a color that actually my dad wears. But as he's worn it, it's in reality, it really looks sort of like Color 8 now, but he's been wearing it for a couple of years. So all the Cordovan leathers, all veg tan leathers tend to want to darken with use, especially when you impart a little bit of moisture to it. So there we have it. All of these heavy-duty Apple Watch bands are now up on our website, ashlandleather.com. Check out the limited release page. The pre-orders will ship in about 6 weeks, but the other ones we looked at, including these marbled Color 8 and black, those are all ready to ship now. If you have any questions, definitely leave a comment. And until next time, hope you have a good one and take care.